Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. We love getting your stories, and today we're taking a closer look at a story that's, well, it's full of twists and turns. It's about betrayal and revenge and, yeah, finding love in unexpected places.
And it's one of those stories that really grabs you right from the start. The rawness, the emotion, it's just captivating.
Absolutely. I mean, that moment when you find your wife, Patty, with someone else right there in your office,
Yeah.
it's like the ultimate betrayal.
It's like something out of a movie. The image you painted with your words, the scattered clothes, the shock, the sense of your world just completely imploding. It's incredibly powerful.
And it's so interesting how you capture that feeling of complete and utter devastation. It's not just about the infidelity itself, it's about the shattering of trust, the feeling of being completely blindsided by the person you thought you knew better than anyone.
Exactly. It's a violation on such a deep level. And it's
Yeah.
fascinating how this one event becomes the catalyst for everything that follows. It sets off this chain reaction of pain and anger and ultimately this burning desire for revenge.
But before we get into that, let's rewind a bit. You mentioned being hesitant about the prenuptial agreement at first, but ultimately you signed it because of your father's advice. Looking back, does that feel significant?
Oh, absolutely. It's almost like foreshadowing, isn't it? Patty's concern about the house, her insistence on that specific detail in the prenup. Knowing what we know now, it hints at a certain calculated nature, maybe even a lack of full commitment from the very beginning.
Right. And then there's the whole issue of the flirting. You were increasingly uncomfortable with Patty's interactions with certain male clients and friends, especially Joe. You felt like you were seeing red flags, where there's smoke, there's fire kind of situation.
And that's a crucial point, the difference in perception. You saw it as a warning sign, but Patty dismissed it as
You walk in expecting one reality and you're slammed with this devastating truth.
And in that instant, the man you were, the husband who believed in his marriage, it's like he ceases to exist. You're replaced by this wave of raw emotion, hurt, anger, confusion, and this overwhelming urge to strike back, to make them pay.
You described it as almost primal, this immediate shift from love to a burning desire for revenge.
Yeah.
It's like all that hurt and anger coalesced into this single-minded focus on getting even.
And what's so interesting is how your plan for revenge mirrors the betrayal itself. You decide to target the wives of the men involved, to inflict the same pain that you're feeling. It's a classic eye for an eye scenario.
It's like you were trying to recreate the situation, but this time you'd be in control. As if by orchestrating their pain, you could somehow reclaim a sense of power over something that had left you feeling completely powerless.
But as we'll see, revenge is a dangerous game. It rarely brings the satisfaction it promises and often leads to a spiral of negativity that affects everyone involved. The question is, did you realize that at the time? Or were you too consumed by the hurt to see the potential consequences?
That's a great question, and one we'll explore as we delve further into your story. Stay with us as we continue our deep dive and uncover the next chapter of this captivating tale.
We left off with you diving headfirst into this revenge plot, mirroring Patty's betrayal by targeting the wives of the men involved. It's that classic eye for an eye thing. But as we often see, that path rarely leads to any real resolution.
Right. It's like you were trying to fight fire with fire, but instead of putting it out, you just ended up creating this massive inferno that consumed everyone around you.
And the fallout was pretty intense, wasn't it? The divorce proceedings, Patty's lawsuit against your father, the vandalism, it all escalated so quickly, creating this whirlwind of chaos and pain.
You talked about feeling like you were drowning, like you were caught in this current you couldn't escape from. It's no wonder you found yourself drawn to Glenda. She became this lifeline, a beacon of sanity in a world that had suddenly gone crazy.
Glenda's role in all of this is truly remarkable. She embodies this incredible resilience, this unwavering capacity for compassion. Even while going through her own divorce from Joe, she never wavered in her support for you.
It's like she saw the good in you, even when you were struggling to see it yourself. She challenged you, called you out on your behavior, but she never gave up on you. She held on to this belief that you'd find your way back from the darkness.
And then there's that incident with the vandalism. It goes beyond just property damage. It felt like a violation, a personal attack that really shattered any remaining sense of security.
Especially with George targeting Glenda's car. That crossed a line. It showed just how dangerous things could get, how easily your revenge plot could have spiraled completely out of control.
Did that moment, seeing the damage, the fear in Glenda's eyes, did that make you pause at all, make you question what you were doing?
You've mentioned feeling a pang of guilt. Especially when Susan George's wife broke down when the truth came out? Was that a turning point for you?
The court proceedings also revealed another layer of betrayal, didn't they? Patty's actions at the hardware store, the financial discrepancies, it all pointed to this pattern of calculated deception, suggesting that her infidelity was just the tip of the iceberg.
It's like the mask came off and you saw Patty for who she really was. Someone capable of a level of manipulation and deceit that you hadn't even imagined.
And your parents, throughout all of this, they remained steadfast in their support. Their reaction to the vandalism speaks volumes. They were more concerned about your well-being than the damage to their property. That's unconditional love. That's family.
Their advice to you, to choose forgiveness and move on, it was incredibly wise. It came from a place of experience, a deep understanding of how destructive holding on to anger can be.
They'd seen their own share of hardship, and they knew that bitterness would only poison you in the end. They urged you to break free from the cycle of pain, to choose a different path.
And Glenda, drawing from her own experience with Joe's betrayal, echoed that sentiment. She'd found peace by letting go, by focusing on her own happiness. Did her example influence your eventual shift?
Remember that scene at your house with your parents? Susan and Glenda all gathered there. It was a moment of reckoning, of shared pain and vulnerability. Susan's apology, her realization that George was to blame. That must have been a wave of mixed emotions for you.
Relief that she knew the truth, but also guilt over the part you played in her heartbreak. And Glenda right there by your side offering comfort and support. It's like even in that chaotic moment, your connection was deepening a bond forged through shared adversity.
And amidst all the drama, you notice the blood on Glenda's blouse, the torn fabric revealing her bra. It's a small detail, but it speaks to your heightened awareness of her. The way your attention was drawn to her, even amidst all the chaos.
It's like in the middle of this storm, you were starting to see the beauty of a sunrise on the horizon. Your focus was shifting from revenge to this desire to protect and care for someone who'd become incredibly precious to you.
And while the women tended to Glenda's wounds, you and your father found solace in a simple ritual. Making coffee, it was this quiet moment of connection, a chance to process everything that had happened, to find comfort in the familiar.
Like grounding yourselves in the midst of the chaos. Drawing strength from that simple act of sharing a cup of coffee. A silent acknowledgement of the bond between you.
And then the calls started pouring in, friends, colleagues, offering support and concern. A reminder that despite your mistakes, you weren't alone. People cared about you, were there.
La chukra, la chukra.
But then that
Bro,
chilling call
thank you.
from Patty. You're a lucky bastard. No name, just venom.
Yeah.
It must have sent shivers down your spine. A reminder that she was still out there, still harboring all that anger and resentment.
It was a stark warning that even with all the progress you were making, there were still loose ends, potential threats to your newfound peace.
And yet, in the face of that threat, you chose to focus on rebuilding your life, your business, your home. And then you had this delightful problem, Glenda. She became this constant presence, a source of comfort and warmth.
You talked about coming home to her smiling face, a home-cooked meal waiting for you. It's a beautiful image, a stark contrast to the turmoil of the previous months. The simple acts of care and companionship spoke volumes about her feelings for you.
It's like she was weaving this tapestry of love and support around you, creating a space where you could finally exhale, where you could start to heal and envision a future filled with hope.
You were hesitant at first, understandably so, for everything that came. But Glenda's patience and her unwavering belief in you rose away a man worthy of love. And she refused to settle.
You gave her a key, a symbol of trust, an invitation to become a more permanent part of your life. It was a gradual process, a dance between your desire for connection and that lingering fear of being hurt again.
And then one evening on the terrace under a canopy of stars, you took the plunge. You proposed to Glenda, poured your heart out, acknowledging everything you'd been through and expressing your desire to spend the rest of your life with her.
It was a brave act, a declaration of love in the face of uncertainty, a testament to the healing power of vulnerability and the human spirit's ability to choose hope over fear.
And Glenda's tearful yes was a resounding affirmation of her love for you, her willingness to embark on this new chapter, to face whatever the future held together.
It's a beautiful image. The two of you under the stars finding solace in each other's arms, a refuge from the storm. But we've reached the end of part 2, and your story continues. We'll delve deeper into your life with Glenda, the challenges and triumphs you faced as you built a new future together in part 3 of our deep dive.
Take a moment to reflect on the transformative power of Glenda's love. How did her presence shift your perspective? How did her strength and compassion help you find your way back from the brink?
And we're back, picking up where we left off with this incredible story of healing and second chances. You made the decision to leave the pain of the past behind and start a new chapter with Glenda, a woman who had seen you at your lowest point and loved you unconditionally.
That image you painted of the wedding, it's so powerful. A small, intimate gathering focused on genuine connection rather than a big, showy affair. It speaks volumes about your priorities after all the public drama you'd been through.
It's like you were reclaiming intimacy, choosing to celebrate love in its purest form, surrounded by people who truly cared. A powerful symbol of healing and creating a safe space to just be yourselves.
And settling into married life with Glenda, you described the sense of peace and stability, something you hadn't felt in a long time. The chaos of the past seemed to fade away, replaced by a quiet contentment, a rhythm of shared moments, and the unwavering support of a loving partner.
It sounds like Glenda's presence created a sanctuary for you, a space where you can finally let your guard down and just be. Did you feel that shift right away, or was it a gradual process of letting go and allowing yourself to trust again?
You talked about working alongside Glenda, rebuilding your business, navigating the day-to-day challenges as a team. There's a real sense of partnership there, a recognition that you weren't alone in this anymore.
It's like you were both building something new together, a foundation built on mutual respect, shared dreams, and a deep understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses. That shared purpose, that sense of working towards a common goal must have been incredibly powerful.
But you also acknowledged that the past wasn't completely gone. The scars of betrayal, the weight of your choices, they lingered. Was there a particular moment, a trigger, that brought those feelings back to the surface?
It's a good reminder that healing isn't always linear. There are steps forward and steps back, times when the pain resurfaces unexpectedly. But the important thing, as you've shown, is to face those moments head on, to acknowledge their hurt and lean on the people who love you.
And your willingness to confront the past, to seek forgiveness from those you'd wronged, that speaks volumes about your character. It takes a lot of courage to admit your mistakes and try to make amends. It shows real growth and a commitment to becoming a better person.
It's like you were consciously breaking free from that cycle of pain and resentment, choosing to rewrite the narrative and embrace a future defined by compassion and understanding. That takes incredible strength and self-awareness.
And through it all, Glenda was your rock. She didn't avoid the tough conversations. She didn't try to pretend the past didn't exist. She stood by you, offering unwavering support and a safe space to work through your emotions.
It's like that saying, love doesn't mean looking at each other. It means looking in the same direction. You were both facing forward together, acknowledging the past, but choosing to focus on building a future filled with hope and healing.
And in that shared focus, that unwavering commitment, you found a strength that went beyond just the two of you as individuals. You were a team, a force to be reckoned with, capable of weathering any storm.
Which leads us to that incredibly powerful statement you made. No matter what happens in the future, I know we'll get through it together. It's a declaration of absolute faith in your bond, a testament to the resilience you'd built both individually and as a couple.
Those words are so impactful because they capture the essence of your journey. You've gone from a place of isolation and fear to a place of shared strength and unwavering love. You found a partner who truly sees you, understands you, and chooses to stand by you no matter what.
Your story has taken us on such an incredible journey, from the depths of betrayal to the heights of love and redemption. It's a true testament to the human capacity to heal, to forgive, and to find hope even in the darkest of times.
It's been a privilege to unpack your experience with you, to witness your growth, and to celebrate the love you found with Glenda. Thank you for sharing such a personal and powerful story with us.
And to our listeners, we hope you found insight and inspiration in this deep dive. Remember, even in the face of life's challenges, even after experiencing hurt and loss, there's always potential for growth, healing, and a love that endures. Thanks for joining us.